I ended up then trying to kill myself because it just become too much. I was sectioned and then put into rehab, and then disappeared out of the country for 9 weeks. And that was where my journey began, sober, and after that was the stepping stone, really. Well, it was the rock bottom for me to have to change myself, and from that point onwards I knew that I couldn't continue living the way that I was.
Ciao a tutti and welcome to Outsider. I'm Mattia and I'm your host. This episode really gets into the heart of what Outsider podcast really is. Jess is going to share her personal story of how she rose from a really tough situation and how she became the woman she is today. I really hope some people can take away something from it, and I really hope you guys enjoy the conversation and the story as much as I did. If you want to support me, just like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, listen on Spotify, like and comment, and without further ado, here's Jess.
Yeah, all good.
Alright, hi Jess.
Hi.
Welcome to Outsider.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much for having me.
How are you?
Yes, I'm good. Excited.
Me too. I've been waiting a long time, as you know. But I've got an easy question for you to start with.
Yeah.
Who is Jess today?
Jess today, I am a traveller. I currently am travelling back and forth Southeast Asia, in which I'm going again in 10 days. And
Are you excited about it?
yeah, I can't wait to get there. For me, and living in such a small town, I feel like I feel quite trapped, and solo travelling has made me realise that there's just so much more out there. So I'm super excited to go again.
Where have you been apart from Thailand?
So I've travelled obviously away out of the country on holidays, but actually solo travelling, I've only solo travelled Thailand so far. But Thailand's a huge country, so I've like all the small islands, for example, Koh Tao, Koh Phangan, Koh Samui, beautiful places.
So what is your plan when you are about to go next week, right?
Yes.
What is your plan?
So I've got a few options. I currently work online, remote, in travel as well. So that would be a good opportunity to help me build my business. But I'm also going to continue my passion with Muay Thai. Maybe get a few competitions done whilst I'm out there. Just soak it up really, just reflect, use the time to get back smiling.
Yeah. I ask you this question because why did I say who is Jess today? Because who was Jess yesterday? I mean, not yesterday, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, very different, right?
Yeah.
I would say Jess today is a very different person compared to how I was back a few years ago. Obviously, I've grown, I have used my life experiences in a positive way, and I'm now working at Best as well, helping other kids who are going through similar situations like what I went through in the past.
Do you want to expand on it? What went on in your life?
So, when was it? I think 2018. I got caught up in the wrong crowd, just young, naive, probably quite vulnerable, and I ended up taking lots of drugs, and before I knew it, like, it just escalated. And I wasn't aware of anything around me. That led to fighting. I was always in trouble with the police. I ended up then trying to kill myself because it just become too much. I was sectioned and then put into rehab, and then disappeared out of the country for 9 weeks. And that was where my journey began, sober. And after that was the stepping stone, really. Well, it was the rock bottom for me to have to change myself, and from that point onwards I knew that I couldn't continue living the way that I was.
From what I know, correct me if I'm wrong, it all started with bullying at school. Is that right?
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about it maybe a bit
Yeah,
more?
yeah. So growing up as a kid, I think for me, I just wanted to have that sort of friendship with people, but I was always bullied, picked on, and sort of just pushed out. And I think that's sort of where it all stemmed from. Obviously being bullied as a kid, naturally, it just made me quite depressed and sad, and I just think that built up a lot of anger in me growing up, in which it come out in different ways. And then I think there was a point where I just had enough, and and then I sort of got into lots of fights because of it. Just tried to stand up for myself, but obviously didn't end up the right way. And I think from that point, that was when I was sort of looked at in a more of a positive way, or not necessarily a positive way. I was, I looked cool for fighting, you know. Back then, it was a cool thing to do, apparently.
Do you mean for yourself, or did other people tell you that you were cool?
So it was more the other crowds and groups that took me in then for fighting. And, you know, if I had won a fight, people would have be like, oh, she's cool, she can look after herself.
So you get hyped because of that, right?
And then, before I knew it, I was involved in a very negative group.
Do you mind me asking, sorry to interrupt, was this, you're talking about street fights?
Yeah, so a lot of street fighting. I remember I remember having my head kicked in by like a big group of girls. I didn't realise it, I got jumped pretty much. But that's because I was just so naive and I didn't know what I was getting myself into. There were times where obviously I had won fights and the girls respected me more. But yeah, like I said before I knew it, I was just involved in something that I wasn't really aware of.
Well, you were 12 years old, right?
Yeah, I was 12 years old.
So looking back now at that age, what would you have liked to hear from like adults to help you in that situation before everything started to go down?
I think for me, from number one, I didn't help myself. And looking back now, absolutely terrifies me. Some of the situations that I led myself to get into, Jess now would never even like to think of it. But I think if a lot of the systems, for example, CAMS and TAMS, they are like mental health systems. Nobody knew what to do with me. I didn't want to help myself, and you know, I had the support there. Maybe not necessarily enough, but I still had the support there, and I just think it was still, you know, what's the saying? You can take a horse to the pond, but you can't force it to drink the water.
Makes sense.
I just didn't want the help.
Why was that though?
Like, again, I think it does relate back to the bullying. Like, I felt, oh, I belong somewhere, I've got friends. I was just feeling that high from fitting in. But obviously, I didn't know that what I was even involved in.
So, sort of looking back, if you can put yourself in the 12-year-old Jess, what was going on in your mind? Like right now, you're thinking that was wrong, but back then, what was going on in your mind?
I think it didn't help with the drugs that I was taking. So I was smoking weed, I was doing pills. At one point, it did lead to cocaine as well, which is absolutely crazy to think of. 12 years old as well. But I definitely think that the drugs didn't help. With all the chemicals and stuff mixed in the drugs, I just was not thinking straight. Even just from being high, like it kills your brain. So yeah, being under the influence and not having a good sort of group around me, it really didn't help me. I think for myself, looking back, I was young and naive and vulnerable. I didn't really know at all like what the repercussions would have been towards my actions.
It does make sense. It's scary to think about. I can relate to you about the bullying stuff.
Yeah.
I took a different road than you, maybe because of the situation. I wasn't able to fight, maybe, you know what I mean? But I can relate
Yeah.
on the feelings that you are putting out there. So yes, what happened after? Well, at a certain point, you must have thought, I need to, get my head straight, or what happened?
I think, well, for me, it was after, obviously, I was bullied and then I turned into the bully. And it just led me to be a horrible person. And I think from that point where I was jumped and I had my head kicked in, I just couldn't have gone around the place the way that I did, in terms of how I was fighting and stuff. I was a horrible person, and for sure that was almost the point where I knew like it had to stop, in which the fighting did, but the drugs didn't. Again, I was obviously using the drugs, so I just like my mental health wasn't good. I didn't have the support, and yeah, that was where I went even further down, and it got to a point where I just like I didn't really feel like I had anywhere to turn. So that was when I tried to kill myself. I overdosed on ibuprofen the night that I ran away from home.
Can you tell the story of that night?
Yes, God, if I remember it.
Yeah, whatever you can. Yeah.
So there was one evening I got home from being out. I was so high. I can't really remember clearly, but I had fallen out with my mum and dad. Probably just for being home late or something. But because of the drugs that I was on, like I was a horrible person. And then yeah, I was like, I'm done. I'm going. I'm not coming home. And I packed a bag and ran away. And then that was the day that I overdosed when I was out of the house.
How did you find this? What do you say was ibuprofen?
Yeah.
How do you find them?
So I actually met with a friend after running away, and I wasn't feeling well, so I had some ibuprofen, but I had the box and I just kept it on me. And then when I had left from my friend, I don't know what went through my mind now. I just couldn't imagine, but back then I don't know, I just sort of took, I don't remember how many I took, but just took the box. How many's in a box? Like,
It's probably like 3, 6, maybe 12. I don't know.
yeah,
Let's say
yeah.
10. You took
Yeah,
all
so
the whole strip.
the rest in the box.
Okay.
Yeah, so then I overdosed. And I remember being carried to. No, I remember being in hospital. And my dad he just carried me like a baby. I was out of it. And I was having my bloods flushed. I mean, I wasn't aware of anything. It's really scary to think now. And then, I was in hospital for a while. And they were doing observations, checks. I was having more sport put in place.
Is it the sport that you mentioned earlier? I don't quite remember the name. The CAMS, yeah.
Yeah,
Was
so
this the same?
yeah, I was having social workers, drug workers, CAMS, TAMS, you name it, like every social service possible. But yeah, they just, as much as the support was there, I just don't think it was enough at that point for me to get out of what I had already gotten into.
Is it because of yourself or because of the support?
I think now I would say it was because of myself, but back then, for sure, I didn't have the support that I probably should have needed.
Right.
All the support like there is nowadays.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, one of the biggest lifesavers out of it all was that I did have a good family and a strong family that made the difference. I mean, a lot of kids don't have that nowadays, which is really sad. They don't have like the backbone and the strong parenting. But yeah, so after that point, I was diagnosed out of hospital. I wasn't allowed a phone. I wasn't allowed to leave the house. I had like no control whatsoever. And I tried to run away from home. And that was when my dad, he had caught me down the road, but he had like 4 or 5 police cars behind him. And he made the decision that day to section me because nobody just knew what to do with me. And then, I was taken in the back of a police van, and I remember sitting in the back. I had no idea what was going to happen. I thought I was going to go into jail. I just didn't know. But I was taken down to Devizes. Can't remember what it's called. Devizes. I don't know. But I was sectioned under my mental health and then kept inside overnight. And by that point, my mum and dad had made plans beyond my control to take me out of the country and just completely get me away from everything and anyone around me. Nobody knew where I was. People thought I was dead. I had no social media, access to nothing. But I think in those 9 weeks, coming clean off the drugs, having no access to social media, it was that point from there where I just was a kid again. And 9 weeks later, I come back to Swindon. A very slow process. Again, I still didn't have much access to anything. I wasn't allowed out. I had no... What's the word? I had no contact with anyone that I used to hang around with. There was arrests made that I was unaware of. But from that point, I just knew... For me, I've got quite an addictive personality. So, for example, sports, it's a very good almost fix for that.
Yeah.
Which is obviously a better addiction, right?
Yeah.
So from that point onwards, that was when boxing just completely changed my life.
Before we move on into the boxing
That's
journey, I listened to an interview of you, and there was a sentence you said. I don't know why, it's totally random, but it stuck with me. Uh, can we say you went to Spain when those
Yeah.
9 weeks?
Yeah.
And I remember you saying in this interview that you were just jumping in the pool,
Mm-hmm.
and making fun of your mom in a jokingly way,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that stuck with me because I imagine you as a kid again,
Mm-hmm.
instead of
Yeah.
out there, on the road doing whatever.
Yeah.
Can you talk about those 9 weeks a little bit more?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, then I was away for 9 weeks. I went to Wales. I lived with my cousin and my auntie. And me and my cousin, we'd go jumping off the pier and the beach. Like, we was just kids again.
Mm.
And it really allowed me time away from all the shit that had been going on at home, just to become me. I then went out to Spain, and it was just nice to be around my family and be away from everything, because I was a completely different person.
Mm-hmm.
I was hanging out with my mum more. We'd actually sit around a table and eat dinner together. I caused a lot for the family. We was a very broken family. But I remember back then, after coming clean from all the drugs, I was just, a completely different person, a normal child.
And when you were in those moments, did you ever think about what you did a few months before? So you were like back a kid again with your family. Did your mind go to that place again of what you did, or?
I think there was always almost PTSD during the time of my recovery.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I couldn't get away from that.
Mm-hmm.
I spent a lot of nights crying. I couldn't sleep. But I think that was just the realisation and the trauma of what I had been through back home. That just, it is it's crazy to look back and think. But in the time, for sure, I was like, how do you say it?
Were you hopeful of the future?
Yeah, definitely. I think coming away from it all definitely made me realise, like, there is more to life than just being amongst rubbish people, drugs, and being out on the streets,
Mm-hmm.
I think where I'd been around such a bad crowd for so long, like, that was all I knew.
Mm-hmm.
So being away in a nice hot country definitely made me realise, and especially being around a family that, didn't really give up on me. They were there for me, pushed me through. Now I sort of wouldn't change it, because it definitely has built me up to be the person that I am.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what was your relationship with your parents before all this? And how is that changed after?
So, at the time, my relationship with my parents was awful. I absolutely hated them. I couldn't stand them. I didn't want them anywhere near me. I just sort of thought, it's really horrible to say, they're like my best friends now, but I just always thought they were against me.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously I was a child, they were just parenting, they were doing the right thing. But yeah, at the time I completely despised them.
Before all this happened, before all the bullying, and before you went down that road, what was your relationship with them?
Yeah, I would say my relationship with them, growing up as a kid, was always quite good, actually. I'm very grateful to have experienced some of the things I did growing up. Not many people get to, go on holidays like we did every year, if not 3 or 4 times. Fed, like, I had that very good, I did have a really good life growing up. But again, with society and the influence around us nowadays, at that age it's so easy to get drawn into things that you're unaware of.
I asked you this because I just wanted to know. I just wanted to put myself in your mind as well. Growing up, you were okay with them, and then once that page was turned of that life, your mindset also changed against them, sort of. For then, you became friends with them again, which is really cool. Yeah, I just wanted to understand this part of it. Yeah, sorry, you can carry on.
That's okay. So yeah, at the time when I was going through everything, my dad obviously made the decision to section me, and for that I just didn't like him as a person. I thought that was the worst thing he could have ever done, and I thought that he was, giving up on me. But now I look back, it's the best thing that had ever happened to me, because it really just, it woke me up massively. As cliche as that sounds, it was like that was as lowest as I could possibly get, and I didn't want to spend the rest of my life in and out of a place that I was in. I remember on the night I couldn't sleep without people watching me. I couldn't go to the toilet. I wasn't fully clothed. I wasn't allowed any sort of restriction that I could possibly harm myself with.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Makes sense.
So based on that, I despised my parents. But it was only until after, I think, even now, a few years down the line, I actually am very grateful for them. It must have not been easy for them to have to go through that as well, and I'm not naive to that. I think the fact that they made that decision shows how much they really wanted for me, how much they just wanted me to change and be better. Now our relationships were super strong.
I've met your dad. He's a cool guy. Yeah. And do you sometimes nowadays put yourself in their shoes back then? Do you ever think about that?
Yeah, I think again it's very scary. If I was to put myself in my parents' shoes back then, it's their sort of first time too, like dealing with something like that. How would you can only go on what you feel is right. So I feel like for them it definitely wasn't easy, and I for sure caused a lot of pain for everyone in the family. Not necessarily, it wasn't just myself going through the situation, my mum and dad. My mum spent the 8 weeks with me away at my auntie's, so she saw it very closely, and most definitely was my rock through everything.
That's really cool. Thinking about that time of your life right now, what are the feelings that you have towards those people that brought you to the wrong path? Does this question make sense?
Say again, sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. Thinking about that time right now, what feelings do you have towards those people, that those individuals that you were hanging out with?
Yeah, so I think now, from the person that I am, I'm on a very different path. I know, even I'm still young, but I know what I want, and I think because I experienced it at such a young age, it's matured me quite a lot. Compared to the people that I was friends with at the time, our lives are very different. I'm almost I'm going that way.
Yeah.
And they're going that way.
Yeah.
The opposite way. I wish them the best, but it's unfortunate because, not many people are able to come away from it all and change their lives around.
So there's no hate towards them or anything like
I don't have any hate towards them. Like I said, now I'm older, I believe that it was my decision at any time to decide for what I wanted. But then equally, I wouldn't want to ever cross paths or have anything to do with them.
It makes sense. But this is my personal opinion, obviously, by what you said in the other interview, which I listened to when I told you. You were very young compared to some of them. They shouldn't have been treating you that way. They shouldn't have let you do some things that you've done. So, yes, it was your decision at the end of the day, but also when you're older and you see a 12-year-old girl doing the stuff that she did, you should have rethink a little bit.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to,
yeah,
get
yeah.
at.
I think if I was to see a 12-year-old going through the same stuff, I would be the first person to be like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And it is so scary to think, or when I look back, as I've said, to even, to think about some of the things that a 12-year-old young girl would be doing. But at the time, equally, I was just naive. I was vulnerable as well, very vulnerable, in which I didn't realise at the time.
Yeah.
So people would take, what's the word, like, almost use that.
Like, take advantage of the fact that you couldn't really understand what was going on.
Yeah, definitely take advantage.
What is the worst thing that you think you've done during that time?
I would say, I think the worst thing for me was, as in like what I've done or what I've had sort of like.
In your opinion, like when you think about, I don't know if you think about that time sometimes or not, but looking back, is there something that stuck with you that you say, I shouldn't absolutely have ever done that, or, anything like that?
I think the biggest thing that I regret would be when I beat up a girl. I had my reasonings at the time, and it was all over self-harm, and again I was bullied, but that just turned me into a horrible person. And even to this day, I regret hurting another person based on how I was feeling, because I would never ever do anything like that now.
Makes sense.
But again, like, that's changed me as a person, and I've learnt from that. So
have you talked to these girls since, or?
I have had like interactions, sort of thing, with them, but I think the girls are, well, most people, everyone knows that, to just leave me alone, sort of thing, because I'm on, like, to just, I think it's pretty clear that I want more for myself than anything like that.
That makes sense. And obviously, people that know you know that you're a good boxer as well. Do you wanna? How did that start? Well, how did boxing come to your life?
So after being away in Wales and Spain, my dad introduced me to my boxing coach, Paul. Actually, when I was younger, I did do a few sessions in and out with Paul.
All right.
And I think that was how I learnt to fight. But so I had known Paul previously. And from that point, Paul just become like my second dad. He pushed me and challenged me in ways like I couldn't even explain. And boxing was literally the stepping stone for me to becoming who I am now.
Are you still practicing? Obviously, you said that Muay Thai is your passion now.
Yeah, so I have had 11 amateur fights. I started amateurly boxing when I was 16,
Hmm.
16 years old.
I'm sorry to ask, how old are you now?
21.
Okay.
Yeah, so when I was 16, I had my first amateur fight, and it was just an incredible feeling.
Hmm.
I was training hard in the gym. It just gave me that focus and pushed me to want more.
Hmm.
I was working on myself. I was training. I was feeling good, out running, eating well, and I think the feeling that you get, like the buzz that you get from winning a fight, is very addictive.
Hmm.
So I was very busy for a while boxing. At the minute, I'm not competing. I'm not really training in boxing, but I've found my love towards the gym in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
I do a lot of weight training. I tried jiu-jitsu. And yeah, since being out in Thailand, I started doing Muay Thai. I think for me, the gym is a big factor in my life. I will always be in and out of the gym.
Mm-hmm.
Like the 5 a.m. mornings
Yeah.
to the gym. I think that's the best way to start your day.
I totally agree.
But yeah, so although I'm not competing in boxing, I've still got the healthy lifestyle with the gym, and for sure it makes a difference.
So you said earlier that the gym, the training gives you kind of the same buzz as the drugs that you used to take. How do you compare the both now, if you think about the two things? Obviously, you are choosing the healthy buzz, but what goes into your mind when you think about, both
I
things?
think, we're all chasing the dopamine, right? We all, like whether it's your morning coffee or
Hiya. I'm one of those.
yeah, or going to the gym or jiu-jitsu, running, whatever that may be. I think for me, that's, as a female as well, with being hormonal, that's what makes me feel good.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the gym is just my sort of release, my happy place, and where I can sort of work on myself and push myself. Yeah.
Yeah, no, makes sense. Yeah, I was just listening. How did you feel when you met Prince Williams, and what did that mean for the whole story that you have?
I think with my story and how we have sort of turned it from a negative to a positive, working at Best, setting Best up, my dad.
Just a quick opener. Do you want to tell what Best is for the audience?
Yeah. So, Best Be a Better You is a youth working charity. We mentor other kids one-to-one, whether that's kids involved in gangs, crime, fighting, or kids with autism, learning difficulties. We work with a huge range of different kids. So yeah, we mentor them through boxing, any sport, could be football, basketball, jiu-jitsu. But not only that, we help teach them maths, English, tutoring. And it's Best's been open, I think, for 5 years now, and we are working with over hundreds of kids each week.
And your dad opened it because of your story, right?
Yeah, so I think with what I went through and not necessarily having the support I needed, we've turned that negative into a positive.
Yeah.
And now we are able to help provide the support for the kids, be that open place that they can come to and just, leave their stuff at the door and come in and kick the ball around and be kids, have fun. But also a safe space. They'll be fed, they'll eat food, because some of the kids, they don't eat. They come from broken families, broken homes, and we are sort of their only place that they can trust.
I respect that so much. Yeah.
Yeah, so it really is nice how that has changed into what I went through has now developed and helped other kids going through similar situations.
So if you imagine that this can a lot of kids can listen to this right now, what would you say to them? Imagine these kids that are going through the same situation, or they're about to go. They're just in there. They don't know, is that the right thing to do? Should I not? And you're there and you're talking to them. What can you tell them?
I would say for someone who is, even if you're just struggling and you're feeling lost, or whether you're just feeling stuck, maybe you are involved in things that you shouldn't really be involved in, I would say try sport. Like, even if you just get out and go for a walk, or if you've got an opportunity where you can go out with your friends and play football or something, just do it, because it helps. Like, it generally just helps so much.
What if they're not this kind of person and they just want like psychological help? Maybe do you have any advice for them?
Well, coming from a place that I was in, I didn't really see a way out, so but I happened to obviously get through it, and as hard as it was, I still pushed through, and like now I've come out the other side. So I think that I am proof that it is possible, and like, if I can do it, for sure you can too if you are struggling.
That's good. So even if you think that you're not gonna go through, you say you're the proof of it, that you actually can.
Yeah, definitely. If I can, then of course I believe in yourself.
Yeah, it makes sense. I've got one question that I meant to ask you earlier. Again, thinking about the bullying, what do you think the institutions or schools can do, to tackle this problem, to prevent the bullying even?
In my opinion, I would say bullying stems from parenting and how you're brought up with morals, respect and manners. I think, no one's perfect, and kids are kids, you don't necessarily know right from wrong up until a certain age, but in my opinion, I would say it does come from parenting where bullying starts. If you think you can get away with pulling someone's hair and being horrible, then your child may lack a bit of discipline.
Yeah, makes sense.
I would just...
Whacking.
Yeah, no.
There's no more whacking nowadays.
Well,
yeah,
I can't say that.
Yeah, no, I've been through whacking and I turned out alright.
Yeah.
I forgot what to ask you now because of this joke. Oh.
But that's the thing, isn't it, nowadays? Like, that can't happen. Well, obviously, with my parents being South African as well, they had very different upbringings. So growing up was tough. I was disciplined. But like you said, it turned out right.
Yeah. I mean, the most important thing is that he's how you are today, right? Yeah. Well, given all you've said so far, what would you say to the old Jess if she was right here in front of you?
God, that's a big question. I would probably grab her, squeeze her, give her a hug, and just tell her that it's going to be okay, because it's really scary to think now, but where Jess is today, I wouldn't change anything that I went through, because it's made me who I generally am today, and I know what I want in life and what I don't want in life. I've experienced it, I've been there, I've done it, I've done all of that stuff, so it's definitely kept me on the straight and narrow, for what I want now.
That's pretty nice. You said that you've got a great relationship with your parents now. What would you say to your dad and Paul and your mom if they were here? I promise you they're not hiding. Like,
Just pop out behind
no,
the
they're
curtain.
not. They're not. But yeah, what would you say to them?
To start off with, I would just say thank you. I'm very grateful, and I always will be very grateful for having such supportive parents. I think now I'm at an age where, I'm independent,
Yeah.
I'm old enough.
You want to explore, you want to try this,
Yeah.
which is, it's great.
But it will never change my love and respect I have towards them. I think, like I said, a lot of kids don't necessarily have that. So for that being, I'm very grateful, and it makes me more grateful to have them. And I would just never wish them to experience something like that or have to go through anything like that again.
Makes sense. You have a business, right? Do you want to say what you do so maybe people can get in touch with you if they need help?
So now, like I said, I am soon to be back out in Thailand, in which I will be taking my online travel business with me. I work alongside my 9 to 5 remotely in travel, so I am a private travel agent, but there is the marketing side of the business, which is where, obviously, the private travel agent side, I help people book flights, anything holiday, it could be cruises, packages, etc. But with the marketing side, I can help introduce the opportunity to people. For me, I think going travelling the first time, it again opened my eyes up, and I realised how much more I wanted for myself, not necessarily to feel trapped. And that rigid routine of you wake up, I would go to the gym, then go home or go to work,
all over again.
Yeah, just constant, and I just wanted more than that, so working online has really allowed me that extra freedom, and it's going to obviously help me whilst I'm travelling with an extra bit of money, so.
Where do you see Jess in 10 years' time?
That's such a cool question.
Thanks, by the way.
I see myself working completely remote, no 9 to 5. The fear of having someone be my boss for the rest of my life, that scares me. I'd like to have a big base here. Something also to do with the gym. Not quite sure yet, but I definitely see myself working remote.
Maybe
wherever.
Helping people.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Yeah, definitely. I think with the travel side of things, if I didn't know how to even start, but giving that opportunity to other people and explaining it and, helping them, I think that's for sure where I see myself.
That's really good. Jess, this has been a real honor for me. It was really good. And I think you're a beautiful person. I think you've always been. You just went, down a wrong road. And yeah.
Thank you
so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did.
Yeah, really fun.
Before we go, do you want to tell people how to contact you if they want to have an holiday and things like that? What's your contact?
Yeah.
Or if that's all right, obviously.
Yeah,
if that's all right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So you can. How do I say it? You can contact me.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, whatever. I will put the link in the YouTube description as well. So at the end of the video, if people are interested, they can save your Instagram. I don't know. Do you use Instagram?
Yes,
email? Yeah. Also. So I will put all the stuff in the description anyway. But Yeah.
Thank you.
How do they find you?
So, if you are interested in working online or open to know more about what it is that I do, then everything is over on my Instagram page, Jess Bryden X.
Mm-hmm.
So feel free to drop me a message, and then yeah.
I will drop the link again. Jess, thank you so much for this lovely chat.
Yeah,
and
thank
for
you so
opening up
much
as
for
well.
having me.
I really hope people can take away something, and even if I can, not me, even if you can help someone through these,
Yeah.
even if it's just one person, would be great.
Makes a difference. Thank you so much.
Thank you. See you later, guys. Thank you.